Hey, Professor, I'm having a bit of trouble with Pokemon battles. How do I upgrade their stats a bit?
Just make them really big, man. Just get in there. Get a bicycle pump. Just get them in there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the award-winning Nintendo podcast backed by 120 Power Star rating, and the doors to episode 101 are open. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and joining me this week, as always, is Bryce DeWitt. How are we going, my friend?
Good.
That's good.
The 101.
The 101, yes.
We're past the 100.
Yes. That's what happens when you do an episode over 100.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
And thank you to everyone that gave episode 100 a listen. It was a big thing to put together, but listening back to it, I'm quite proud of it, how it turned out, and how we could involve people that we've met along the way and people that listen to the show, and it was really great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely a fantastic episode.
Yeah, and if you haven't listened to it, feel free to go back and have a listen to it. Yeah, what's wrong with you? Just put the Reggie a little bit there. No. We won't be doing that.
No.
So, Bryce, this week we're going to be talking a lot about Pokemon Sword and Shield and a little bit of other news that's sort of seeped out. A lot of E3 stuff's going on at the moment, but we're not going to break into all of that. It's like a little bits here and there, like a new ukulele game and new Darksiders game and that, but we're not going to touch on all that. We might touch on it in maybe the E3 episode or something. Yeah. Maybe down the line, but this episode just really want to concentrate on Pokemon Sword and Shield, get into the information for all of that.
Yep.
But before we get into that, Bryce, you've been doing some dark hacking.
Dark hacking? Jesus.
I don't even know what dark hacking means. No, you've been modding, you've been playing around with mods for Breath of the Wild.
That's right, yeah. So, I kind of wanted to briefly bring this up because, it took my interest the past couple of days. And before I get into it, obviously, I do not endorse pirating. And I do not endorse modding your console to the point where you can pirate to all hell. Yeah. If you're going to do something like this, I recommend using an emulator or something instead. So with that, I'll go on with it. So yes, I've been modding Breath of the Wild just to see how it's going, because you actually see a lot of articles and stuff floating around the place that are like, oh, Breath of the Wild's becoming like more playable on PC than it is like the consoles is actually meant for. No, right. So 1080p, 60 FPS. Some people are running 4K.
This is the Wii U version.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, it's the Wii U version. So I installed it. I installed the particular emulator, which I will not mention. I'm sure you can research yourself. And I gave it a crack. But I also went and checked out the modding community for the game as well. And it's really surprising how down pat these guys are getting modding down. At the moment, I've just got some pretty basic mods running. I've got a Link replacer. So instead of Link, I'm playing as Linkle. And in that same mod, they change up all the armors to sort of fit the thematic of Linkle. Yeah. So every armor is completely different. And then I've got like a UI mod so that when you go to the mapping screen for your controller, it shows an Xbox One controller and all the buttons associated with it.
That'll be weird.
It is a bit strange. Oh. It is a bit strange. And then, I've just got some other simple replacements, I guess, and like an unbreakable Hylian shield, for example, so I can shield surf everywhere, because underrated feature of that game. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to pay attention to that and sort of make note that really there's a lot of stuff that these modders are putting into the game that sort of just make me wow, and that a lot of potential for Breath of the Wild could have been in modding, similar to what Skyrim was.
Yeah, it seems pretty similar to Skyrim, where like people like break it open, get into like the sort of UI and stuff, and mainly like aesthetic stuff, like just like putting like Thomas the Tank Engine in there and seeing how that works. Have they put Thomas in there yet? They put Thomas? Yeah, they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember hearing something about it.
There's a shit ton of Link replacements too, like you look through it and it's like, oh, you can replace Link for Ash Ketchum or Goku or Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. Like, it's really extensive. There's like a lot of cool stuff to go with it. You can replace Link with Zelda, even if you felt like playing as Zelda for whatever reason.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Some people have modded some of the more useless shields in the game to be like a dual-handed weapon slot and stuff like that. Last week, there was a breakthrough in the modding for map editors. So people have been turning shrines into full-blown dungeons and
okay, wow.
One person imported Bomb on Battlefield into a shrine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently, it's something modders just like to do is import Bomb on Battlefield into things.
Into anything. Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, no, it's really neat, like, all the stuff. And, like, I'm playing it normally at the moment because I just want to see, like, how the game performs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I experienced some slight freezing, but I am playing at 1080p and 60 FPS, like, locked. And it's really nice. Like, it's really smooth. And I know that, like, on the consoles, we still get, like, a pretty stellar experience, but, like, playing it in that sort of environment is just like, wow, imagine if Nintendo made a really nice box. And it, like, Breath of the Wild ran like this sort of thing. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to bring that up and say, well, I guess Breath of the Wild is sort of slowly becoming Nintendo Skyrim in that community, if that makes sense. I know that Bethesda are now sort of doing the whole "I'll make you pay for mods" deal.
Yeah, they tried it,
and that's not fun, you know.
Yeah.
Why they ever did that was beyond me, because modding is a community thing, and Breath of the Wild has actually got a really solid modding community for what it is, and they're not hard to install or anything like that. They're not difficult. You don't need a separate launcher or anything. All you got to do is drag and drop files. It's really simple.
Oh, sweet, yeah.
Yeah, it's not even hard at all. But yeah, I'll do some more messing around with it and see how it goes, I guess. Modding's not something I've ever been impartial to, like with Pokemon games and stuff like that. People make excellent ROM hacks and all that stuff to really change up a game or whatever. And obviously it's a lot easier in those games, but with Breath of the Wild, I feel like it's Nintendo's biggest modding project, if that makes sense, through a community-based system anyway. Games like Zelda and stuff like that, they have randomizers and some dungeon replacers.
Probably Mario Maker would be the biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, officially, yes.
Yeah.
But unofficially, like, community-wise, Breath of the Wild is probably their biggest modding community, and always... Oh, well, in the same sense that it is a giant 3D game, you know. Mario 64 is probably one of the oldest ones, I think. Mario 64 has had, like, a ton of complete edits, and, you know, there's Star Road and stuff like that, mods for Mario 64. People speedrun them all the time. It's one of the more established ones, but people are very particular. There was one guy that made an entire mod that was just one star, and it was just Trump's wall. Mario was Mexican.
Well, no.
it was a bit mental. But most of the Mario community Mario 64 community sort of wrapped up, and nobody's really making anything new for it. They're kind of just improving on what's already out there, like Star Road and all that. But yeah, Breath of the Wild's really budding, and I really hope that this math editor kind of inspires people to make their own little dungeons and stuff, just to show what the kind of potential would be in the next Breath of the Wild if they made it more dungeon based and not shrine. If that makes sense.
Have you spent much time actually playing it, or are you just like tinkering around?
I've spent a couple hours so far. It's mainly at the moment. It's just me sort of slowly introducing mods into my thing until I hit a snag and then go, "Oop, I have to go back on that one."
Yeah.
So I've introduced maybe about 6 mods to it so far in about 2 to 3 hours worth of game time. I'm off the plateau and I'm doing things and just adding them as I go, just to see what they're like. So yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I really want to see that Bob on Battlefield.
I'm pretty sure I can show you pretty quickly. It wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
wouldn't be hard at all.
No, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
As far as me, I haven't been playing much this week, but just I've picked up a Switch grip.
Yep.
I had one for my 2DS, and it made the 2DS just feel so much better to hold.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, all right, I've got to do the same for my Switch. So I did a bit of research. I looked into some. There were some that a lot of people recommended in that, but I eventually come down onto the Skull and Co. one.
Yep,
which
Skull candies.
Yeah, so it's it basically just Switch slips into there, and it covers up the buttons and that, and it gives like a sort of a rubberized feeling to the triggers and bumpers.
Yep,
and that would probably be one of the. I don't know if it's a negative, but it makes the triggers and that a little bit harder to press down.
Okay.
But I tested it with Mario Kart, and I never missed a button press or anything in Mario Kart, and that was probably the one where I used the triggers the most in a Switch game.
Yeah.
So I think just use it more. Like the more you use it, the more you'll wear it down, and it won't be as hard to press.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but it feels great. It feels awesome. It comes with a bunch of handles that you can swap the sizes. So if the handles on where you're holding it feel too big, you can swap it out for smaller ones or different shapes.
Yeah.
And it's really handy.
It's also one of the only sleeves that I've seen that actually fits in a dock.
Yeah,
So-
and it also fits in the dock. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it doesn't just fall in. You've got to put it in the dock and sort of push it down.
Yeah.
And I have noticed since it is thicker and it's going to be pushing the screen more against the dock, it has scratched it a little bit more. It's put like a bit of a deeper scratch in it.
Yeah.
Which
And that's what you want screen protectors for.
Yeah, it doesn't concern me because I have my screen protector on. But
Yeah.
if you're looking into a dock, or if you're looking to get this and put it in your dock, make sure you have screen protectors because you're gonna. I find mine.
Yeah.
Mine, my right side doesn't get scratched,
No.
but the left side of my Switch
Does. I
I
feel
don't know.
like it's the most important thing to buy one right off the bat anyway, a screen protector.
Yeah.
It is the first accessory I bought for the Switch, without any cause to reaction whatsoever. I bought a Gorilla Glass screen and put it immediately on there so that I knew that screen was covered. Because life gets rough and tumble. I've worked with Gorilla Glass screen protectors before. They're really good. So that was the first thing I did with mine. And in the case of this, it kind of only makes sense that when people were having trouble with, what was it? Was it the dock? I think it was the dock in the beginning where it was sort of leaving marks.
Yeah.
I just little foresights like that. I feel like the thing you need to protect the most is the screen before anything else, and it should be probably the first thing you put on your Switch anyway. So with that in mind, if you've got a screen protector on your Switch and you're looking for something that fits well in the dock, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoy it, and it comes with you can choose the colors of the handles. So the whole thing's black except for the handles, and I've got them to match my neon red Joy-Cons.
Yeah,
and you can get them to match your grey ones, your blue ones, your Splatoon ones.
Yeah,
I think there's ARMS ones even. They've got pretty much all the colors locked down, so you can
and then
customize it to that too.
In the future, I'd imagine they'd put out real custom sort of looking ones as well, probably.
Yeah,
themed ones.
Yeah, I ended up picking it up on Amazon for $60 along with the case if it fits it well.
Yeah.
And the case is a really nice hard case which you can fit 10 Switch games in.
Nice.
And you got heaps of room for cables and that too. So
yeah.
No, really enjoy it. It's really good.
Good.
Because I don't know about anyone else, but the Switch is probably the first handheld I was starting to get a bit crampy on my hands.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm playing it for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas games like Pokemon and Breath of the Wild, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was sitting there for 2 hours and more, just sitting there playing the game. So
yeah.
Hopefully this thing helps it. And so I was finding myself really enjoying playing my 3DS because it feels so good with the grip.
Yeah.
But go back to my Switch, I'm I need some handles on this thing. Yeah. So no, really happy with that. I think it was a good purchase.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Bryce, let's move into a little bit what's been happening since we've, I guess, been gone. Well, not been gone, but been covering other things.
Yeah.
Did our predictions for episode 100, and we've sort of... there's been a couple of weeks there we haven't talked about much, but really that was just the Pokemon stuff, so...
Yeah.
Sorry, we can roll that into one episode. But just two articles that I found interesting, which are... interesting for both sad reasons, I guess. But won't go into this one too much, but FIFA 20 has been announced for Switch... and it's been confirmed that this version is a legacy edition of FIFA 20. So that basically means that there's no new features, no updates, no anything, but it's just going to be roster updates from now on.
So basically, no point buying it unless you really want Enrique
Yeah, if you want like the new team update.
Yeah.
And it's, Switch tax, going to be paying $90 Australian.
Yep.
For that.
Yep. It's another classic case of EA doesn't know how to sell their product on a Nintendo console.
Mm-hmm. I think, especially, we were talking about it 2 years ago, just basically when we started the podcast. I remember EA was showing FIFA, was it 18?
18, yeah. 18
at E3, and they were saying, it's a brand new FIFA experience remade for the Nintendo Switch. And at the time we were talking about it doesn't have the story mode.
Yeah.
And we're just like, guys, stop giving us crappy products, otherwise we won't buy it.
Yeah.
And what it turned out to be is people did not buy it, and now it's just gonna...
Yeah.
Now it's just turned into this because they're not making enough money on it.
No, exactly.
And EA is one of the only publishers where it's like they didn't embrace the Switch, and because of that, that's why they're not seeing anything from it.
Well, yeah.
You're seeing
half-assed it.
Yeah, you're seeing FIFA, and you're seeing like a couple of these independent games they're bringing out, which they're publishing. Like, was it Fee and Unraveled 2 finally came out the other day.
Yep.
But apart from that, you're really not seeing any support from them. And
no.
I think it's just facepalm worthy.
I don't
reading this.
Like it shits me because
yes,
that's
a good way to put it. It shits me.
It does. It absolutely shits me because they just. I look, EA. I've always had complaints about EA, but in the last year and a half or so, they've been even worse than they were before.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just doesn't. It's the whole roller coaster of like half-assery and bad decisions, monetizing the shit out of their games. Like that's all common and clear. But for the people that do enjoy a FIFA and would like to play it on the Switch,
yeah, FIFA's a good game.
FIFA's a good game.
Yeah,
and like even I enjoy FIFA, and I'm not like
you're not a football fan.
Big soccer, I like the game.
Yeah,
don't really enjoy watching it. But anyway, it sort of just comes out to this, like a legacy edition.
A legacy edition on a not even, what was it, 3 years to Switch? No, it's not.
No.
It's 2.5.
Yeah.
Legacy.
Because I just don't want to put the effort in.
I just love the wording. Like, Legacy. Legacy's the what they used for the Vita, like, after, 4 years. Legacy's what they used on the PS3 after the PS4 was out. Like,
yeah.
The Switch is not a legacy console, but this is a legacy edition of the third edition of the game on the system. It's just, it's ridiculous.
They just don't want to spend the money. They don't want to spend the money to, downgrade it and do all this shit. They basically just want to sell the old game again with more shit and pass it off as $90 and be like, hey, haha, you'll buy this because you're suckers. But no, I don't think anybody will buy this. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, the Switch is definitely not selling our products now. It makes me wonder who the hell's running the company. Yeah. It really does. They're just... if you're not going to put out a quality product, you're not going to sell anything. And people that do review this game are probably just going to be just as upset.
Yeah, just like looking at EA's sort of lineup this year at their EA Play and all of that thing. Just regardless of this, the company seems to be in a bit of a hole with their software. Like looking at their stuff, it's kind of like, oh dear.
Yep. Battlefront 2 came out to what it was, and. Yeah,
Battlefront 2, Anthem, like the list goes on.
Yeah.
There's a Need for Speed game this year. I hope it gets announced and it's like a good one. Was there a remake of a Need for Speed game, or was that just bullshit?
Paradise? No, that was Burnout. No, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw something, but I didn't know if it was real or not. It must have been fake because I didn't hear anyone else talk about it. Yeah. Anyway, good luck, EA. Keep doing what you're doing, eh?
Yeah.
This is a bit more of an interesting one, Bryce. Projection, which is an Australian indie game, which I've seen at PAX a couple of times. You got the chance to play it last year at PAX. It's a really interesting game where...
It is a very interesting game.
It's got a really unique art style where there's like basically, you're playing as a shadow puppet.
Yep.
And you've got to sort of use the light to do puzzles that way.
Yeah.
And like, it was really... it really bent my brain, especially at PAX where like I'm running off no sleep. And I'm tired as hell. But basically, this game was was at PAX last year. We got to play it. We actually did an interview with the game developer, but Bryce didn't press the button properly, or
I pressed it twice, I think.
you pressed it twice because I got back to edit into the podcast. And I noticed it was like a second long. I'm like, oh dear.
Yeah, shit happens. But I did play it, and I really enjoyed it. And it's unfortunate that.
Well, I haven't gotten to that yet, Bryce. So basically, it's not coming to the Switch anymore.
Yeah,
It's coming. It's exclusive to Apple Arcade. Apple have locked it down to come to their service.
yeah,
Which is sad, really, because I was really looking forward to this coming onto a Nintendo platform.
well, look, yeah,
Because it's perfect for it. Because as much as I can play it on my Apple stuff, just having it in your Switch in your hands, with the physical controls, is just how I want to play that game.
yeah.
Obviously, the touch controls and that are going to be.
I just like, yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like it was kind of a missed opportunity. I guess going to an Apple platform, if anything. Like I get that apps do typically well, especially against like a real robust, obvious.
Well, it's not just that. Like Apple Arcade, Apple are funding these games to be a part of their subscription service. So, I think like in the actual like legal jargon, I think they have to be exclusive. All of these 100 games they bring into Apple Arcade at launch are going to be exclusive.
Yeah.
So, I guess the money that come from that to fund the game was worth it in the end to obviously cut off other platforms because it's coming to PS4 and all that, I think, as well. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I definitely knew that it was coming to Switch because I remember seeing Switch on their little banner. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Yeah,
because
exactly. Yeah.
the year before it wasn't confirmed for Switch.
Yeah.
So it was good to see it come, but now that it's not there, I'll read the article from Vooks just for a bit more information on the thing. But this is who's it by? It's by Oliver Brandon. And he says, back in 2017 at PAX Australia, the Vooks team went hands-on with the utterly beautiful game called Projection First Light, based by Sydney-based developers Shadow Play Studios. At the time, and even last year at PAX, the game was slated to be coming to Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. That no longer seems to be the case. In April, Blowfish Studios, the game's publisher, published a blog post announcing that the game would be coming exclusively to Apple Arcade. This led a little bit of confusion. The Blowfish website at the time still listed other platforms, and several other outlets were still reporting on it coming to Switch, even after Apple Arcade exclusivity has been announced. Vooks reached out to Stride PR for public relations firm partnered with Blowfish Studios, and after a number of emails back and forth, the following statement was revealed. Thanks for reaching out to us. Regards, projection for Apple Arcade. We have no comment on other platforms for the game at this time. So at this stage, it seems that the game won't be coming to Switch, or at least not anytime soon. You can read our impressions of the game and the interview with the developers by clicking here. So obviously you can't click here in the podcast.
Yeah.
But if you want to find more out, Vooks has all of the information you need on the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Friends of the show, a fellow Australian website, so go and check that out.
Yep.
But it is a shame. It is a shame.
It is a real shame
at least
because I really enjoyed it.
We might see after a year, we might come to Switch then. Apple's like, we've had it long enough and people have played it and all of that. But
Is anybody really going to buy into Apple Arcade as much as they are current gen consoles though? Like, I feel like that's...
I don't know. I'm interested in it just because I'm an Apple fan, and I'm interested to give it a go. And it seems to have like a lot of interesting games, and with their new like controller support and all that, with their new OS and that, but makes it real easy to sort of get into it. I'm interested in it.
Yeah, but is it going to overtake like the literal what?
Oh, well,
3 consoles you've got sitting there plus the Switch.
Yeah, but I don't feel like I'm the person they're targeting. They're not going to take over Nintendo for me. They're not going to take over PlayStation for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I see Apple Arcade as like a nice little extra bit next to my Switch. Because I'll have my phone and my iPad and my computer. So if there's a game I'll look at, like Oceanhorn 2, that looks awesome. That's exclusive to Apple Arcade at the moment. Yeah, and I feel like I would just use it as like a little cherry on top to the other stuff. But yeah, this was the game I was looking forward to. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
all right, Bryce, let's get into some Pokemans.
Pokemon.
Who's your favourite Pokemon? Is it me?
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, let's before we get into the Sword and Shield stuff, let's talk about the sort of the business conference they had the other week.
Oh god. Yeah.
So we don't have to touch too much on this. This will be real quick.
Yep.
So first off, Bryce, what do you think of Pokemon Sleep? Let's just get into that straight away. Pokemon Sleep, Snore. Yeah. What I found really weird about Pokemon Sleep is like, we're going to be making sleep entertainment. We're going to be doing this, and they talked about it for like 10 plus minutes.
Yep.
But they never actually said, this is how we're turning sleep into entertainment. This is the app, and this is what you do. They just talked about the fact it's going to be a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And even if they did the most in-depth analysis and gave it out for free straight away and all of that, I still wouldn't have really cared at all.
No, I don't think
Pokemon's-
anybody really does.
No. And was that also Detective Pikachu 2 was confirmed for Switch, which is cool, but they didn't even have a logo or anything for that.
Yeah.
So to me, that just seemed like, oh god, the movie's going well. Well, we better get a game out.
Yeah, we better put something out there.
Yeah, better get some. Do we have a logo already? No, not even that. At least Metroid Prime 4 had a logo.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be good to see on Switch.
Oh yeah.
Won't be anytime soon.
No.
Next year at the earliest.
Yep.
And we'll go into the mobile game. What was it called? Pokemon Masters?
Pokemon Masters.
Yeah, Pokemon Masters. That looked cool. That had like characters from other games and that, but
Totally a gacha game though.
yeah, so that has me disinterested already. Just like I want to see the characters. I want to see like all of that sort of the screens where they had like the like you had like Misty and that talking to you. Yeah, it looks very mobile-esque, but it looks pretty cool having them actually voice acted and everything.
Yeah.
So that looks pretty cool. I'll pick that up and I'll probably
Give it a crack.
I can see myself like really trying it and putting like a couple of bucks in there just to see how it all works. But as far as like Pokemon Quest levels of like, all right, I'm enjoying this. This is a game I really like. Not sure. Probably not.
I don't know. We'll see what happens with it. I think it's a bit too early to tell.
And that was interesting because that is the DNA partnership we talked about a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah. Which is weird because they also made the Rumble thing. Did they not?
Well, they mustn't have.
Who did?
I don't know. Probably just.
I swear it was DNA.
Well, you look it up while we bring up the next point. So, Pokemon Home. This was the one that actually got me excited, which was like the most basic app as well. I think just having like a expansion of Pokemon Bank where you can move all of your Pokemon into one thing and also access it through your phone and be able to trade. That really got me being able to trade Pokemon like with phones because like you think, oh, now that the Switch is so portable, you'll be able to actually easily pick up your Switch and trade. But now you just use your phone, which is really cool. You're finding that it is it?
Yeah,
it is DNA.
Nah, that's it. As it's cool. No, sorry,
okay.
I am reading up on it. All it says is the Pokemon Company. So
yeah, it's just.
I guess it is just the Pokemon Company, but I'd like to bring up the ratings and reviews real quick.
Oh god, I see red. I see red on your screen.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that. It's just somebody's icon because Play Store.
Oh, gotcha.
We have the averages here.
Yep.
The averages in stars. Gameplay 1.9.
Nice.
Controls 2.0.
Oh,
graphics 2.0. So
the graphics are the least of its problems.
Yeah. There's apparently a bunch of people. It's got an average of 3.7 stars, which is really strange. But
wow, that's really high.
Yeah, 3.7. But I would argue that that's probably more likely from people who are fans of Pokemon, I guess, if anything. But
bloody fanboys.
Well, yeah, because like everything else has been rated professionally at 1.9, 2.0, 2.0. Like it really is just a very underwhelming game. And I honestly thought that was a DNA partnership. I guess not.
Yeah, because you said it to me. I'm like, really?
I swear. Yeah. Well, that's the weird thing is it was on their fiscal report, so it's kind of just like when that popped up, I figured surely that means that's it then. Because when's Masters supposed to be around? Do we even know?
This year sometime.
Yeah. So I guess it kind of makes sense, but I keep the thing that's annoying about it as well is that I forget that their financial year is earlier, end of financial year.
Yeah.
Which is where fiscal reports get weird for me, because I'm like, our end of financial year is next month. And that's where all that kind of stuff, that information would come out. So I kind of just assumed, oh, this is it, because our end of financial year, yeah, but it's not the case.
It always throws us off because it's like out of nowhere. Oh, here's your report. Oh, all right. You just read all the all the stuff. Yeah. So just going back to Pokemon Home, Bryce, what did you think about that? Good, nice, useful little app. Yeah.
It will certainly sort of change up the way that we interact with the game to some degree. It's mostly going to be Pokemon Bank.
Yeah.
To a more wider variety and extent, but hopefully it works out well.
It's like, I guess if you're going to a convention and you're like, whether your Switch is flat or you just decided not to bring it because it's too big and you don't want to put it in your pocket, you know, if you have all your Pokemon in the cloud and you're just like, oh, I actually have this Pokemon to trade, and bam, it's there.
Yeah.
Like it actually like makes it a lot more freer just being able to interact with one another.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's our impressions of the business meeting.
Yeah, it was really bland.
Conference. Yeah, it's pretty shocking. I don't know why they even bothered to live stream it, to be honest. It's just one of those things where it's like, this is a look to the future. We're going to have these apps which play off Pokemon Go. We're going to have a new mobile game. We are going to release a game for this movie that done really well, because why wouldn't we? And also, here's a thing for Sword and Shield and all the other Pokemon games that would be quite handy. And that's all they had to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't have to watch half an hour of it. No. I was driving around our pad, like I was working. I was driving around checking the sheep.
Yep.
And I was at a place where I'm actually, it was 10 o'clock our time, so I linked it up. So I'm like, all right, I've got to be at this paddock to be checking them at that time, because that's where I get the best phone service. So I'm just driving around, just listening to it in the car, and I'm just like, they're talking about Pokemon Sleep. I'm like, oh god, I'm going to drive into a fence if you keep talking about this. So anyway, so we had a Pokemon Direct a few days ago.
We did, and
usually we would like cover this straight away, do an episode, and put it out, but we wanted to give episode 100 a bit of time to breathe, so we didn't.
And we've got E3 this week, so
yeah,
you know, we were already going to have a big week anyway.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff in this Direct, which is great to see.
Yeah.
Wasn't too much in there. They talked about some of the new Pokemon, some of the new features, and we'll go straight off the bat, Bryce. What did you? I guess the biggest thing they announced was Dynamaxing.
Well, yeah, it's their flagship for the game that was like Mega Evolution, Z moves, etc. Yeah.
And what were your initial impressions of being like?
Look, Dynamaxing is weird, but at least it will not. Well, hopefully not. But I would imagine that it's not going to stay Pokemon exclusive. So, Z moves were able to be used by every single Pokemon, but there was like a whole range of Z moves that were Pokemon exclusive.
A couple, here and there. Like the starters, Snorlax when he's holding the
Snorlax Z, the Alolan Raichu one, all that stuff. And then Mega Evolutions were obviously very exclusive to a very small group of Pokemon out of the 800 plus. But Dynamaxing looks like a system where they don't need that, and it can just be applied to any Pokemon, which is good. But as a friend of mine had said when I was talking to him about it, Jordan, a recurring character that pops up on this show, he said, "What the fuck is with the balloon Pokemon?"
Okay, so that's how he described it.
Yeah, and I mean, he's not wrong. That's kind of what they are. I appreciate designs and stuff like that, like Mega Evolutions and Z moves and all that stuff, but I understand that like trying to achieve that with every single Pokemon is a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
But Dynamaxing seems like a good way to circumvent, oh look, not just this set of Pokemon are going to be overpowered as shit and viable on any team, and you know, it's sort of made in such a way where it's just like, oh look, you Dynamax for 3 turns, you've got a Mega Buff. Maybe they could have just done it that's not something as elaborate as making a Pokemon giant and awful. Maybe it could have been like similar to what the Dark Aura was, except not evil from Colosseum.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Like looking at back at all the sort of the gimmicks and sort of upgrades they try and make to Pokemon, like looking at Mega Evolutions, that's obviously the coolest. But what it does is, since that's so much extra work, making like basically a new form for every Pokemon.
Yep.
It like we only got like 50 Mega Evolutions or something like that.
Yeah.
So that immediately puts the pool down to from 600 Pokemon at the time to 50 Pokemon you can choose from.
Yeah.
To like really be competitive. Like, all right, if it doesn't have a Mega form, it's like, oh, it's instantly not as appealing as something like Aerodactyl, who can Mega Evolve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like with the Z moves, that was an attempt to be like, all right, every Pokemon has access to enhanced power. You can use it once a turn, and
Yep.
But what that turned into, oh no, your Pikachu's versing a Water type. Bam, the Water type's dead.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
Yeah. But I mean, it was like that with Mega Evolutions as well. Like even if something Mega evolved, it was always going to be weak to whatever the fuck it's weak to. So it doesn't.
True.
It doesn't really make all that much of a difference, really. It is literally just ballooning Pokemon up instead of making them change form. It's pretty much the same as Mega Evolution, except it lasts 3 turns. But what I do like about Dynamax is what it's attached to.
The raid battles.
Yeah. So this interests me because I'm a big PvE fan. I play a lot of games that player versus everything. This includes MMOs and all that. This really gets me excited because I like the idea of them having scaling difficulty raid battles. And then, they could just, provided like things go smoothly and stuff like that, maybe there could be a system out where they sort of introduce events that are like Dynamax legendaries and stuff like that require like real harsh conditions. And that would be really cool because that would just like help scale that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think raid battles are a really good idea, and it's something that we haven't had in Pokemon. Pokemon's always been solely about the PvP. Unless you were playing Berry Maker, I guess.
You weren't, though.
No. Like, that's like the only thing I can really think of that it was sort of just like, oh, look, players are working together to achieve something, really, so this is good.
I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
Like, when I saw, like, the 4 players come together, I'm like, oh, yes, because it gives you, like, we're talking about post-game all the time, but actually having, like, I guess, a multiplayer aspect where you're working together, that's going to enhance the length of the game so much.
It will.
Yeah.
It will because, like I said, it is something where they can go hit a switch.
Don't hit the switch. Sorry.
They hit a switch, a legendary Dynamax Pokemon spawns, and then all of a sudden it's just like, holy shit, this is going to be hard to beat and catch. Right, like that's something that they could do.
Make like a mythical Pokemon that comes out like a few months after the game, which is like a brand new one, but like that's how you catch it. That's how you get it. Like everyone is like on forums and social media, like really like pulling teams together and working it out how to take it down. Yeah. Kind of like similar to what people are doing now, like a Destiny 2, and stuff like that.
And this is very inspired from Pokemon Go rating.
Yeah, for sure.
Pokemon Go rating is a really good example of how that system sort of works for Pokemon. It should have been pretty obvious already. It really is literally just the system of players coming together, fighting a target, catching said target. It does introduce a very quick way for them to keep up content in the end game. With again Dynamax legendaries. Obviously, I'm still hoping for an end game, and this is not a suitable replacement for a personal challenge.
Yeah, because like you want a challenge, but at the same time, say you have all the Pokemon, which a lot of us do with living dexes in the Pokemon bank and things like that.
Yeah, just
catching Pokemon isn't enough to keep you compelled.
No,
like you're gonna have to have this as well as like a. I'm not going to say, I know Battle Frontier's beaten to death, but, something like where you can look at and say, I need to beat this in Pokemon battles, not just catching things.
But the Battle Frontier from Emerald, as we've mentioned before, is one of the most spectacular end games they have. It took a lot of work to complete, but it was a very, very huge part of the experience if you're really into Pokemon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, this is great, but it can't be the only thing.
No, and I don't think it will be. I think
probably not, no.
I think Dynamax fighting will Dynamax raids, I should probably just call them, will probably be present throughout the entire game and not just the end game. I think, like, obviously, like I said before, legendaries and stuff relegated to the end game, but yeah.
Yeah, well, just going off of that, so these max raids will be taking place in the wild areas.
Yep.
Which are the basically areas between towns, which are really expansive and really cool looking, and it gives you movement of the camera.
Yep.
Which is like such a like, you can move a camera in a game.
In a Pokemon game.
Or you can move a camera in 2019. So what? But just the way it's done and how like you can.
It looks beautiful.
It just goes on forever. Well, not forever, but it goes on for so long. You can see, and just the fact that each day the terrain changes.
Yeah.
So like you might explore it one day, find all the nooks and crannies, but all right, I'm done. But then the next day it's the desert. So it's completely different. Like maybe ruins you explored are now under sand, and you get to higher areas and things like that. And now that it might be underwater, and it really excites me. I can see myself just
watching all those Pokemon walk and swim around and stuff like that as well. That Tyranitar that is like cautiously avoiding through the sandstorm, and seeing that Melodic in a lake. Like, stuff like that's really good.
Yeah, and that water scene looked really pretty with that Melodic just like splashing about, and like looked really good.
Yeah.
Like, some of the animations look a bit stilted, but I feel like that bit looked really good.
It did.
Yeah. And just like, this confirmed also that wild battles, they are sort of gone. They've got both of best worlds. So if you go into the grass, you can see like an exclamation mark pop up.
Yep.
And then if you want to engage in it, you can. But if you just want to go around it, you can also do that.
Which is great, yeah.
Yeah, because in past Pokemon games, they've done that, but it also had the wild battles still there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really excited for that. People wanted this. Like, you could just like walk up to them and get them. You can do that. You can see a Tyranitar in the distance and you go, oh my god. And you can actually like run up to it, similar to how in Breath of the Wild you'll see a shrine and you're like, oh, there it is. And you'll go and get it. But you'll still go in the grass and you'll pop up and you'll get the thing you wanted, where it is brand new Pokemon. So, oh, what is this? And it just pops up in your face and you throw a ball and you put it on your team straight away because you got no idea what it is.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's a bit of Breath of the Wild magic, I think. Like, it says it in the name in some degrees in its own, but like introducing big open areas like this to a Pokemon game is basically just asking me for my money.
Oh, well, they had their money anyway, but
I mean, yeah, the thing is though, is like,
I've thrown it at them harder. Might leave a bruise. I wanted it that much.
Throw it in a Pokeball at them. There you go. But it genuinely looks incredible. Like, you take in the environment around you, it looks beautiful, it looks pretty, and that was what was so great about Breath of the Wild, and was underappreciated by some, actually. Yeah. I know a lot of people are like, oh, this isn't the Zelda experience I wanted, and I'm just like, but look at all the nice stuff.
What Breath of the Wild really excelled in was the horizon. You could see the horizon, whether it's a shrine, Ganon's castle, a mountain, there was always something where you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
And looking at these screenshots, you'll see like,
it encapsulates that.
You'll see like the next town, and you'll see like Big Ben, like the equivalent of Big Ben.
Yes.
Like standing there, like, what is that? And you'll want to go there. You'll see a bridge. You'll see a valley. You'll see a lake. Yeah, you'll see like a Pokemon, a building. Like that. I just really am looking forward to exploring this area.
Yeah.
And it looks absolutely stunning. And how do you feel about like? So this wild area is where this sort of camera and exploration will take place. You go to a town or, say, a normal linear route, and it'll go back to Pokemon as we know it, what we've seen in Sun and Moon and all of that type of thing. Are you happy with that, or would you be like, why didn't they make the whole game in this type of method?
Well, we don't know how far the wild area expands, and I think that is the major thing for me at the moment in being skeptical. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, there will be routes and stuff in between towns and all that stuff, but we don't know how big this wild area is actually going to contribute to the rest of the game. They obviously made a big point of it, so I'm hoping that means that it'll be a very prime place to catch your Pokemon if you're ever looking for some, and it will be worth checking every day. they haven't really said too much about the frequency of Pokemon. Like, you might only find Tyranitar at 10 and 27 on a Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, I guess now there are 900 and something Pokemon. There's almost 1,000 Pokemon. Yeah. The circumstances of finding each one are going to be a lot shorter if they decide that all Pokemon are in this game, which in some ways maybe they might have to be, being the only Switch game.
Maybe,
probably not. But like, say if you want to find like a Larvitar, like how many other ground Pokemon are you able to find at the same time as a Larvitar when there's like a sandstorm on?
Yeah.
Like, it might be fairly hard to find some of these Pokemon, which them coming up in the wild when you can see them in the distance, go, all right, that's what I'm looking for, and you head towards it. That might be really useful for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I feel like wild area will be a huge portion of the game, and team building and stuff like that. There'll be lots to explore. It adds a lot of depth, knowing that it changes day by day and the conditions change, and obviously some Pokemon will spawn at night, some will spawn at day. All typical stuff, really. But it adds a lot of depth in the context of, I want to build a team. I really want to build a team. I really want this on my team. So how am I going to find this? You spot it one day, you miss it. You're like, oh shit, I didn't catch it. Mm-hmm. Time to find out. Write down a time, talk to people, figure out when this thing comes up, and then work with it. And then, if you could just be lazy and take the trading route, or you could do it. Yeah. I feel like in partial ways, it's probably a good thing I don't have a living dex for this reason, because I'd love to be like, oh look, shit, there is a Tyranitar there, or hey, look, there is a Rampardos, or
yeah, I think, and everyone's going to have that experience too, because Pokemon Home isn't going to be available until early 2020. So even then, we're not going to be able to transfer it over anyway. So
no, but yeah, you won't. My point is you won't stress so much about having not being able to track down a Pokemon. You're just like, oh, I'll get it later and move on to the next one, because I'll just go to my Pokemon bank or whatever.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. A lot more to discover for you if you got to get 900 of the bastards.
I'm going to be as fresh going in. I don't think I'm going to transfer anything at all, so it really doesn't bother me at all. I'll just keep playing as it is, keep going to the wild area, and see if I can find myself a shiny.
Yeah, I really hope they've got some form of chaining type of thing.
Oh,
back.
They will.
Yeah,
it happens every single iteration of Pokemon.
Because the developers see that people enjoy that, especially on like Twitch and stuff. Yeah. Just going back to like what I brought up with the towns and that, like not being in this 3D environment, I think that's quite good. Like having this section as the exploration, being able to do that, I guess, Breath of the Wild type of thing. But like, oh, there's a spot, I'm going to go there, and there's a Pokemon and all that. But going back to the town, like I guess in the towns and the smaller routes what get you to the towns, you're not really doing that. It's just, you're there for like, I guess, the story, meeting characters, and going to gyms and all that type of thing. You're not actually like looking around the town going, oh look, there's that and there's that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good, like, maybe keep the towns for like the moments where characters are like, hey, it's you, let's show you how to go to the Pokemart and all that crap where they take you out of it. Hopefully this area is just no dialogue whatsoever.
Yeah. Oh, there'll probably be some dialogue in it, but I hope it's not.
You'll get like some
overbearing.
You'll step into it and be like, your rival going, hey, this is the wild area, and like this is where you do this.
The problem with Sun and Moon very specifically was that it was so linear and so filled with dialogue that you felt like you had no room for exploration. And hopefully this is the opposite of that.
Yeah. And we got 5 new Pokemon, Bryce, announced.
Yes.
Just off the bat, what do you think of the new Pokemon? Did you like them? Did you not like them?
I didn't have any problems with them.
Yeah.
No. I thought they were all pretty good.
I quite like them. So the first one's Gossifleur.
Yep. And its evolution, Elderfleur.
Eldergoss.
That's one.
Elderfleur. Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah. They remind me very much of God, what was it?
Oh yeah, Gen 5.
Gen 5. Oh my god.
Something Petal? Whimsicott. Oh right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, reminds me of Whimsicott in that sort of sense. It'd probably be support-ish sort of role. Use a lot of underhanded tactics, some nasty plots, all that stuff,
Yeah. Next up is Dreadnought. Dreadnought looks really cool.
Yes, he does.
It's like a big snapping turtle.
Everybody really wants this thing petition to have a Bowser shiny.
Yeah,
So it looks
I
like
saw that.
Bowser.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really, really dope. I wonder if it's going to evolve.
I think it will.
You reckon?
Mm.
Maybe. It sort of looks like a baby, but it looks like it could stand on its own at the same time. Look, kind of like what Drudigan was.
True.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I just find, like, for the most part, single evolution Pokemon just to be like, for the most part.
Because everybody likes the gratification of, hey, look, I evolved this thing.
Yeah,
it changed before my eyes.
It's kind of weird, like Dredagon. Like I never used him because it's like, never evolves, never whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like stuff like Lapras now, I use him all the time. He never evolves, so
yeah,
don't know what I'm on about,
Yeah, it's because Lapras is so iconic, and you grow up with Lapras, and
yeah, I know,
yeah.
Maybe Dredagon, maybe it's just a Pokemon I don't like.
Maybe
that's probably just it too.
Maybe.
Next up, Corviknight. He looks really cool.
Yeah.
When he first popped up in the trailer, when he like came out the Pokeball, I was like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
But pretty cool. Like another steel flying. So like it's
upgraded Skarmory.
Another Skarmory, and there was a picture also circulating on social media as well that every time you use Fly, the animation is like a dark bird, and basically underneath it just says like he was with us the whole time. Because this Pokemon is like the taxi of the what's the region called again?
Galar.
The Galar region.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. Maybe I don't know if this design was based off like those animations from past games, or just like a dark bird.
Yeah,
I don't know. But like, I guess if you just pretend it was, that's really cool. That's a cool Easter egg, I guess.
I'm still at confliction with its type though. Like I understand that like it almost needs triple typing.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those Pokemon where it's like you can't get rid of flying because it's a bird, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's a knight, it's very much made of steel.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how is it not a dark type?
Yeah, exactly.
You've really. I guess the developers probably had the same thing. Like, should we drop flying? So we can't drop flying. It flies. Yeah, and you can't really just make it a flying dark either.
No, definitely can't.
So I think they made the right call, dropping the dark. But yeah, really cool Pokemon.
Yeah,
and the one a lot of people love is Wooloo.
Wooloo's
really cool. It's cool.
He's a sheepy.
Because Mareep really he always confused me. Mareep looks fine, right? But why does it like evolves into Flaffy? It's like, what happened to you?
Who hurt you?
And then it evolves into Ampharos. Ampharos makes no sense to me at all. What is it?
Cute Pokemon though.
Why does it evolve from a sheep? What is it? Is it
into a giraffe?
It's like it's barely a giraffe. What is it?
Well, it's got a really long neck.
I know.
It's got a stout body.
It's barely.
It's got stripes. I'm pretty sure it's a giraffe.
It's a weird looking Pokemon. I love Ampharos. Love him.
Yeah,
but it just makes
no sense. Though.
I always thought, why does it evolve from a little fluffy sheep?
Yeah, I just know this thing's going to get like a buffalent treatment though.
Yeah, you can see it evolving to like an angry ram.
Yeah, big angry ram.
Yeah,
and like I don't know how I feel about that.
I love it evolving to like a bigger, cuter sheep.
Yeah.
Evolves into like that Simpsons meme where like they're seeing like the cute lambs at the petting zoo, like aww.
Yeah.
Then like the cuter one comes up, then the other one steps in front of like, get out of the way, slaps it out. I can imagine this one being like the less cuter one, but it just evolves into a cuter thing. Yeah. And I guess as well, this is a normal typing, so this is the equivalent of like your Zigzagoon and your start normal type Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I for once, it's not a rodent, which is good.
No, thank God, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's cool. I would like to get one because I grew up on a sheep farm, so...
Wooloo!
I should just have a party of Wooloo.
Yeah.
And that's all of the new Pokemon. We've got 5 new Pokemon. How do you feel? I hope they're really, really modest on the amount of Pokemon they show us before release of the games.
Yeah, because Sun and Moon had that problem where everything got leaked.
Because there is a sense of like, oh, we saw 5 Pokemon, show me more. But at the same time, just imagining having all this information given to you while you're playing the game and you had no idea. Imagine if like a Pokemon just Dynamax evolutions and you're like, what the hell happened here? And
Dynamax Wooloo.
Yeah. So yeah, and also they also showed off characters. So the champion of Gala, his name is Leon. He looks pretty cool. I like that he's like based off a king of like the champion, obviously based in UK.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Your rival, his name is Hop. He apparently he chooses the weaker starter to you.
Yes, by the looks of it, yeah.
So there might be. So this guy looks pretty friendly. There might be another rival who is an asshole, and he's the stronger one. Similar to what we've seen in like previous Pokemon games.
I'm hoping he's a strong character in the sense that like, because the last real good Pokemon rival I think we had was Hugh from Gen 5. Honestly, like he had a reason to fight. He was looking for his sister's Purloin. He hated Team Plasma for that reason, all that stuff. And then ever since then, Gen 6, we had a trio of really
they were forgettable as anything.
over bombastic, forgettable people. And then
you just had like, I'm a dancer. Okay.
And then how
why are you battling me?
And then how in Gen 7 was basically the same thing.
Those rivals were okay though. Nah, he says.
We only really had How though. Like we had Gladion, but Gladion was kind of just an edgy boy.
I thought Gladion was okay.
He was okay, but he was just an edgy boy.
He had a decent story arc. How
he was basically in my opinion, he was basically like, hey, let's put Silver in this game. This is exactly what Silver was.
Very much. Close to Silver, yeah.
He was pretty much Silver. Like in terms of uniqueness, I mean. Like the best rivals we've had was Hugh in Gen 5. He was a really strong rival because going back,
rivals have really lost their way since
really have
probably since even Gen 2, Gold and Silver.
Yeah,
going back that far. Like obviously Blue, the first one, fantastic rival. Just your typical rival. Like
Silver, fantastic.
I'm going to beat you. You're crap.
Yep.
Then eventually you beat him. He's like, oh god. Maybe you're not so crap. That's the story. That's pretty straightforward.
Silver, the rival, was like, I'm a thief.
He had a bit of nuance to him. Like, you didn't know why he was quite like that. You didn't know why
we found out years later.
Yeah, and you find out years later that, he
was Giovanni's son.
Yeah, which is like, oh, that makes sense, yes. Then, like, Ruby and Sapphire, the rival was just like, yeah, we're friends, and then, like, they never evolve their Pokemon, and they sort of, like, disappear halfway through the story, so, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, then they show up at the Pokemon League, they're like, you beat them! I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here.
I forgot you. I have not battled you since you were going shopping that one day.
Weren't you that person on the title select screen? Yeah. When I had to choose what gender was in my pants.
Jesus.
And then Gen 4 was pretty much the same thing except plus Barry, and Barry was God.
Barry was God.
Barry was Barry. God, I really didn't like Barry. I don't think anybody liked Barry. Did anybody actually like Barry as a rival?
Don't know. Put in the comments below. So that's the rival. We got the Professor. What's her name? And the professor. Oh, what we got here? The professor's name is Professor
Magnolia.
Magnolia. Yeah. Okay, and she's into studying Dynamax. Because of course she has to.
She has to be up to date with the region's latest fad.
Yeah, it's like, what's the fad? Getting big. And the professor has an assistant. Her name is Sonia.
Yep, and Sonia is her granddaughter.
Yeah,
and she's like the internet craze character. She already has countless fan arts, including over hundreds of hentai-based fan arts already.
Oh, good.
Yeah, people latched onto her real quick. In the same week, it was like a League of Legends champion was announced, and a new Pokemon character was announced. The Pokemon character has like far significantly more.
Oh, really?
More fan art, yes. Like, I'm talking hundreds and hundreds, whereas like the League of Legends champions like more like under 100.
I wonder if that's because Pokemon's more popular or just because Pokemon fans are more perverted.
No, people just really latched onto Sonia. Like they like a character design, I guess.
She's a cool looking character. Yeah, she looks cool. Like, hopefully she has like a bit more story. Like you had a Blue before, obviously. He ended up being a Pokemon professor, and he had obviously a huge backstory of becoming the champion and losing it straight away. And that, like, she might have a similar backstory. I think I don't know where I heard this, but there's like I don't know if it's a rumor or it was said somewhere, but she was actually the rival to the current champion, Leon.
Yeah. That might be a cool story arc.
Yeah, and like it might have been that she used to be the champion before settling down, and like after losing, settling down and being the assistant to sort of take over her grandma, and that could be like a cool story.
Yeah. Milo,
the grass type gym leader. What a scary looking man.
He's a youngster put in a buff man's body. It's so weird. But he's a bug catcher. He's got the face of a bug catcher in a big buff man's body.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's so fucking funny.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's all I got to say about Milo. Scary looking man. He has a cool Pokeball holders, 3 each side.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
so that's something I noticed. What do you think of the player characters? So
I like them.
The male and the female you players.
I really like them. I think they're great.
I do too. Yeah, they look
like,
awesome.
and I mean, I enjoyed Sun and Moons as well. I was kind of impartial to Gen 6s. Like Serena was okay.
I like I like them. I like them too.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just something about the male's design just sort of gets me. I think like he looks a lot like he's trying to look a lot older than he actually is.
His hat looks kind of odd, but
it does. Yeah.
You can change the hat, so it's alright.
Yeah, true.
The only thing I feel about these, I guess, the new protagonists is like you customize them a lot in these newer games, but apart from that, especially the males, they look very similar, like the last 3 generations.
Yeah,
from like 3DS now to what's it called, Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield.
Yeah, like the girl looks fairly different because of the hairstyle and everything, but you'll be able to change that. She'll probably look similar too.
I feel like these guys are very casual.
I like that too.
Yeah, like I think that's sort of just what gets me anyway. Is like their initial casualness. It was pretty similar in Sun and Moon as well with the protagonists there. They also looked pretty casual and it was pretty appealing to the eye. It's not like going back and they all had backwards caps and hoodies and stuff. They've got beanies here now and all looks
that's cool,
pretty good.
Who do you think you'll play as?
Probably the female,
the girl.
Yeah. Typically do. It's I play females in a lot of video games mainly because their customization is a lot more varied. If that makes sense, I feel like boys in video games don't actually change all that much. This is talking about like clothes wise and stuff like that. I just feel like there's more effort put into the female side of it for whatever reason. So, yeah, I typically end up choosing the girl. And you know what? Part of the reason I'd probably choose the girl this time around, too, is because of all the memes.
Yeah, she has a lot of character.
She has a lot of character.
The memes, yeah. Yeah. I'm undecided. Sometimes I play as the girl, sometimes I play as the boy. In Let's Go I played as the boy, but I'm sort of leaning towards the girl.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is I don't know how weird this is going to come across as, but in video games, if I play as a girl, I like making them look pretty.
Yeah. No, that's the point of them.
It's not because I'm like, I want to be a girl myself.
No.
It's not because I want to just stare at a pretty girl on my screen for hours and hours either.
No.
I don't know. It's just I like doing it.
Well, yeah, no.
As well. I don't know. I don't know how to put it, but
it's the customization aspect of it. It's the same reason that like I said before, that I play females in most of the video games, is because a lot of that stuff is varied. I feel like if you want to make a real butch female, you could like dress her up in a tuxedo or something like that, or sort of really go into it. But it's very rarely often that you can be like, hey, let's put this man in a bikini.
Yeah, maybe not.
That makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me. It is a little less unappealing to the eye because of my own sexual orientation to have a male in a bikini. But
yeah, it did nothing for him the other day when I dressed up as it.
No.
Yes.
But I do like getting like a really nice dress or something like that and dressing up a female character in that and being like, cool, that looks really nice. Yeah. Could just be me. I don't know.
It's also from like, in the back of your head, like X and Y, the female character had like literally double the amount of clothing options.
Yeah.
So you just got you get to a new town as a guy, and you're like, oh, here's some t-shirts.
Yeah, here's a t-shirt, here's a cap. Yeah.
Yeah, but the girl had like so many options. You could just like really make your character unique.
Yeah.
Just because I guess I don't really know, because I guess a guy like the developers are sitting there being like, oh, well, I guess we can give him some shirts, and some shorts and some t-shirts and some jumpers.
Well, they did a really decent job of it in like just looking into the clothing. I was looking into the clothing options the other day for Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, because I haven't bothered. But they actually did a pretty good job in that regard. They kept them pretty well even, and then they had a male exclusive outfit and a female exclusive outfit at the end of the line. So, just looking at stuff like that, it's good to see that they're trying to even them out a lot more and all that stuff, I guess. But I think with the female, especially with the associated jokes and comics and all the fan art and all that stuff that's come out because of the female.
Yeah, just voice chatting over a raid. You're like, like you're throwing your Pokeball, you're like, go, you bloody thing. You just do some impersonations that's doing it.
Yeah. I feel like the male hasn't had much attention at all this time around, but
doesn't look Scottish enough. He doesn't have the big pom-pom on his hat. That's the problem.
No, I do like him though. I don't think I don't really have a problem at all. I just think like the female's kind of just taken the attention a bit more, and I think that's the case for most people anyway.
I like how they if you look at their you can look at the male's pockets and you see like the green pattern weaved into his pocket, then you see the green pattern on the female socks, trying to give that sort of I guess like Scottish vibe on their clothing. Yeah. No, I'm really happy with how they look too. Yeah. I've got no complaints with how this game's looking, Bryce. Oh, of course, we haven't talked about the legendaries yet.
Yeah, better talk about that real quick. Yeah.
we forgot about them. What did you think about these guys? I really quite like them.
Zacian and Zamazenta.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody relates Zacian to Sif from Dark Souls already.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. Dog with a sword in its mouth. Yeah, knew that was going to happen. I think it was pretty atypical, considering we already had the logos, what these Pokemon are sort of going to end up like.
Yeah, wolves.
Wolves that are aesthetic around a sword and a shield. So, I would have to say that Zamazenta turned out a little more different than I expected him to. But Zacian turned out exactly how I expected him to, with a sword in his mouth. He hasn't got a sword on his head or anything like that.
Yeah.
Because that'd just be like, hey, it's Keldeo all over again.
Which I'm happy about. Because I'm quite happy that he's just holding it. Because I hadn't seen the Dark Souls boss before seeing this.
Yeah.
So when he's holding it, I was thinking, oh, that's cool. Because I was afraid, it's like, oh, I've got sword feet. Oh, slash, 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 slash. Like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, I'm definitely happy with how they turned out. And I really like dogs. So just seeing dog designs, or obviously wolf designs, but
I still feel
really
like
cool.
Zacian's probably going to take the favourite, and everybody's going to pick sword, and then
that's a good thing. Which one are you going to go with, sword or shield?
Look,
we've got to have this conversation, Bryce, because we've got to.
No, this always comes strictly down to exclusive Pokemon.
Right,
always comes down. So if I'll try to avoid as many leaks as I can up until release, but I always check the exclusive Pokemon in each version before I make my decision.
Okay. So you're not going to make your decision just based off these two legendaries here?
No, never do.
Okay. Because I was about to say we need to figure out what we're getting, because we've got to
we got to be able to trade.
We'll have lots of options. We'll have other friends and all that.
Oh yeah.
Trade with, but you'll be the most immediate one to me. I think I'm going with sword.
Okay.
And I feel like I always seem to pick like the underdog as far as the versions go.
You reckon?
I think I did, yeah. But like this time I don't think I did, because I feel like sword's a lot more popular as far as what I can see online. Because what did I go with? Originally I went with Sapphire instead of Ruby.
Yep.
I went this one wasn't. Was it Fire Red instead of Leaf Green? Leaf Green was the under one for that one. So then Diamond and Pearl, I went with Pearl.
Yep.
I went with Heart Gold for the next one. Went with Black version. Then I went with White 2 version, just because I followed the same legendary. Then I went with Pokemon X. Then I went with Sun. So I guess I do, mix it up a bit as far as like
5 out of 9. I think if I mathed that out correctly, you picked the Yeah. So 60% of the time, pretty much,
Mm.
you pick the unfavourable.
I guess like there's always like a masculine sort of version and like a feminine version.
You forgot Let's
Really?
Go Pikachu. You picked the obvious one there.
Oh yeah, did.
So
I like Pikachu.
you know what? It is 50-50 for you.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Because legendaries at the end of the day don't hardly ever use them. It's not really going to matter to me
Yeah,
that much.
true. Yeah,
Just
like- it's just what you want on the box on your shelf.
yeah, it's 100, or we could just pick up the double pack and not be dumb.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But
Because the thing is, like, I'm going to have it downloaded, but I'm also like, oh, this double pack looks alright. So am I going to buy it 3 times? I don't know.
I don't know.
But does the double pack? Will it come with each game in its own normal plastic case as well as the extra metal case?
I
Or will it
actually
just?
think it might be just the one case. The one steelbook, because we have a gold. Well, actually, very good question. Because I know that EB Games are doing a golden steelbook.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh, it all looks.
I think I'll wait. I'll wait before I double any money down on that.
I don't really like steelbooks though. To be honest, I'm not a big
I like
steelbook
them.
person.
They're pretty. They're pretty. I have a couple of them.
Because I got Persona 5 in a steelbook, and it's just like it just stands out from everything else.
But
Like,
it's the best steelbook ever. It's so pretty.
that's a great steelbook. Yeah.
It's a fantastic steelbook, and like if you still got the plastic cover over it, which a lot of steelbooks don't have. That still keep the back stuff on it, and
Yeah.
it's one of the nicest steelbooks released.
All right, steelbook out of 10.
Yeah, steelbook out of 10. But look, whether I buy the double pack or not is like questionable in general. But it is a very pretty steelbook. But as I've known with EB Games, they've always packaged steelbook editions with the original case as well. But in the case of a double pack, I don't know how that's going to work.
Where it's the actual publisher organising the... Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, oh, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm mainly digital download anyway, so...
You are. You're a digital man in a digital world. Digimon?
Yeah, well, speaking of Digimon, these a lot of people are saying they remind them of Digimon. Obviously, because of
It's because of the aesthetic.
Well, the connection of, like, I guess, Garurumon, who was a wolf,
Yeah.
Digimon, to these guys. And, like, he is blue. These guys have blue on them. You can sort of see, but... I don't think that really look too Digimon-y.
Nah, I think they look fine.
Yeah. Did you see?
A lot of that would be coming from the fact that they're based with like their own unique weapon, I guess. You know, a shield and a sword, which is obviously doesn't happen very often in Pokemon unless it's like really ingrained in their design, like Shieldon, for example.
Yeah, I could see them like versing like Wargreymon or something. You could see that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't look out of place.
No.
As opposed to like Pikachu or something.
Yeah.
But these are legendaries. These are meant to be a bit more intricate in their design and all that, rather than just a Wooloo.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Bryce, I think that covers it all for the Pokemon games.
Yep.
Really looking forward to these. It's going to be playable at E3, so a lot more gameplay is going to be coming out. So excited for that.
Exciting.
I'm keen to take in all of this information from E3. I really hope, though, this type of information at this pace isn't kept up. Like every 2 months, if they're like, here's a Pokemon and here's something, so okay, I can put up with that. But like Sun and Moon, they were just rolling out of like new Pokemon, and it was just
at this time of year, considering like what month it is now, it is roughly 6 months till this comes out. Okay.
Yeah, November 15th.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would be happy with them putting out like a Pokemon a week. And just being like, look, here's a Pokemon. Because you still probably wouldn't spoil half of them by the time it's out.
Yeah, I guess.
With Sun and Moon, it was like, hey, look, here's the demo. And then it was just like, oh.
Here's everything.
Here's everything. Yeah, like, you know, I'd be happy it's really questionable whether they're going to even have a demo version.
Yeah. If anybody out there who listens to this as well is like, all right, I'm shutting myself down from Pokemon. I'm not going to listen to anymore. I'm not going to watch anymore. And you want to keep away from, I guess, spoilers. I do put in all the time stamps and everything in the episode. So if you want to skip Pokemon discussions in the future, that is an option for you if you listen to this as well.
Yeah.
But please don't, because I really love talking about Pokemon, so don't skip that. So anyway, Bryce, that brings us to the end of episode 101 of the House of Mario.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Bryce, where can they find you if they're like, Bryce, I want to see you on Twitter, but where are you?
IV
IV Revan. Yep, cool. And you can find me at iDruby, and you can find the show at the House of Mario. And if you enjoyed the show, please subscribe on your podcast player of choice and leave us a 5-star rating. It helps out the show a lot. And we are a part of the 8-Bit Collective. 22 podcasters and 10 plus podcasts come together to put some awesome audio content in your ears. If you want to see more, follow the 8-Bit Collective hashtag on social media or go to 8bit.net. And Bryce, where can they find our Discord? You don't know. Well,
How am I supposed to know the Discord link? Jesus Christ, you can find it in the show notes, but
yes, that's what I was going
the
for.
the way you said it made it sound like I was going to repeat the link right off the top of my head.
I was just expecting, you can find the invite in the show notes, but you just broke. Yeah, you just went cross-eyed.
I went dial-up modem.
Alright, thank you very much for listening, guys. And Nintendo Jukebox this week is by GlitchxCity. Is a Pokemon Sword and Shield theme from the trailer remix. It's really good. Get hyped for Sword and Shield come later this year. And later this week we'll also be doing E3 episodes and everything. It's going to be great. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, catch you later.
Bye.